changing your life one story at a time. This is the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast with Editor-in-Chief Amy Newmark.
Hey, it's Amy Newmark with your daily dose of Chicken Soup for the Soul inspiration. It's Thoughtful Thursday, and I want to talk about gratitude again. This has been a big topic for us because we published Chicken Soup for the Soul, The Power of Gratitude, a few weeks ago. It's the book I co-authored with Deborah Norville, and we made that book because gratitude is a topic that our contributors have been writing about a lot, and it's because it's one of the essentials that you need for a happy life. If you're not actively noting the blessings in your life, not actively looking for silver linings, not allowing yourself to be pleased by the people and things in your life, you are not going to be a happy person. So I like this story because it involves a simple tweak in perspective that can change everything, and that's what it did for its writer, Dorian Weber. Dorian tells us that it was 3 a.m, and she was sitting on the couch watching television once again. Some infomercial came on promising that it would change her life, and she thought, if only it were that easy. She couldn't sleep, and she shuffled into the kitchen to get a chocolate chip cookie, something she had been using to comfort herself a lot. In fact, Dorian realized she had been watching a lot of late-night television and eating a lot of chocolate chip cookies. Why? Because it seemed like everyone but Dorian and her family were doing well. Her friends had new cars, vacations, designer clothes, really nice new homes, but Dorian and her husband and kids were living their same old simple lifestyle. Dorian was jealous, and it didn't feel good. Well, the next day was Sunday, and the family decided to stay home and declutter some of their closets. Everyone pitched in, finding things to donate, things to throw out, and things to keep. Dorian was trying not to think about her friend who was off on a glamorous ski weekend. She was in the middle of cleaning out one of the bedroom closets when a little spot of blue caught her eye, and there on a shelf, squeezed between some old purses and shoes, was her teenage diary. She had written it in a spiral notebook over a 3-year period. She couldn't help but smile at her teenage self because she looked at this notebook and there were doodles all over the cover and all the letter I's were dotted with little cute hearts. And there were lots of places where Dorian's teenage self had emphasized how excited she was by ending a sentence with 3 exclamation points. It was obvious that Dorian had been a happy teenager. She decided to take a break and sit down and read that old diary. And boy, was she surprised, because her old self had a positive attitude and expressed her gratitude often about her family, friends, and the teachers she liked. Her teenage self had a zest for life even when it was difficult. And it had been difficult. There were a lot of obstacles to happiness in Dorian's childhood. She grew up in a housing project in Brooklyn, and they got by with the bare necessities. Nevertheless, Dorian discovered that she had accepted their situation, and she had been grateful for what she had when she was a teenager. One sentence in particular jumped out at her from the diary. She had written, "I promise myself to not be jealous of my friends anymore and not care if they have better things than I do. I want to be happy." The title that Dorian put on this story was My Wiser Self, and you can see why. Her teenage self knew something that Dorian had forgotten as an adult. And now her younger self, her wiser self, had opened her adult eyes to the possibility of a new, much more constructive perspective. Dorian sat and thought about the irony. Here she was, jealous of her friends who had more than she had, and yet she and her family had too much anyway. They were cleaning out the excess from their closets. That night at 3, when Dorian would normally have been thinking about what she didn't have, she started a new tradition. She took out a notebook and she started a list of things she was grateful for. She kept at it day after day, and as her list got longer, her spirits lifted. She's been doing this for 7 years now, and she finds she's sleeping a lot better than she used to. She's a happier person now, and it's because she has started counting her blessings every day, just like her teenage self. I'm Amy Newmark. Tomorrow is Friend Friday, And I'm going to introduce you to one of the most thankful places on earth. It's a very, very special village in the Orlando, Florida area. The place that actually hosts all those kids who ask for a trip to Disney World when they have a life-threatening illness. We're going to talk to the woman who runs it, Pamela Landworth. Thanks for listening to the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast today. If you want to learn more about the book I mentioned, Chicken Soup for the Soul, The Power of Gratitude, please go to our website, chickensoup.com.